Hey guys, how's it going? In today's episode on BMX TV, I'm going to be showing you how to properly remove and install a BMX stem. So the stem I currently have on my bike is a Fiend Moro V3 stem, and I'm going to be installing this E-Claw domain stem. So these two stems have quite a bit of different geometry. I'm just going to explain that quickly. So this Fiend stem has 48 millimeters in reach, which means the center of the fork, the steer tube, to the center of the bars is 48 millimeters. And this one here, as it says, is 52 millimeters. So it's got 4 millimeters extra in reach. So it's a little further away from you. Also, the rise is different. This one has this one here has 29 millimeters in rise. So that's the center of the stem to the center of the bars is 29 millimeters. And this one here has 34 millimeters. So it's got 5 millimeters of extra rise. So that means your bars are going to be up a little higher. So yeah, I just want to quickly swap this out for you and show you guys how to properly do that. And with this stem here, you can see it's got a gap on both sides. I'm going to show you how to properly tighten these bolts, so that way you don't have a tight spot and a loose spot, so your bars don't slip and move. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you're going to need is some paper towel, rubbing alcohol, 6 millimeter Allen key, and your stem. So when removing the stem, I like to remove the pinch bolts of the stem first and the top cap, and remove the entire stem and bars from the bike before I remove the top cap bolts. Why? Is because the stem can get seized on the steer tube of the fork, and if you remove this first, then you don't have leverage to get the stem off. So to remove the stem from the bike, you want to twist off these pinch bolts on the side, and you just want to do it slowly, one at a time. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. And that's going to open up this gap here. And this is the clamping force of the stem onto the steer tube of the fork. And then after you got this loosened up, then you can remove the top cap. You don't want to do it the other way around, because if you remove this first before the pinch bolts, you can strip the top cap, because there's added pressure, clamping force on the threads, and it's going to cause problems with removing this. So always remove the pinch bolts first before the top cap. So I'm just going to show you how to do that here. So yeah, a little bit by little. You don't want to do one side more than the other, because you can actually crack the stem, because it is made of aluminum, or however you say it, alu. So yeah, just bit by bit, and then once the bolts start to move freely, like that, then you can remove the top cap. And you just insert it here. So with this one here, you can add a 6 millimeter or a 8 millimeter with this Odyssey top cap. Just put it in here and twist it off. There you go. Got that off. So you just twist it off, and this one came off quite easily. But why I said remove the stem from the bike first is because aluminum, or however you say it, will seize on steel, on chromoly, and it can, seize, and it'll be a hard time taking it off. So with the bars still on the stem, you'll have extra leverage to twist it off. There you go. Now you removed the stem from the forks. And now you want to remove the bars from the top cap of the stem. And in order to remove the stem bolts, I like to do it in the same sequence as I install the top cap. So I like to do it in crisscross pattern. So I would loosen this one here a bit, then this one, then this one, then this one here. And you just want to do it bit by bit, because sometimes the bolt can get stuck on the top cap and you can warp the top cap, and then you have to buy a whole new stem. So that's why you just want to do it bit by bit. Yeah, so here, I'm just going to hold it on one side. There you go. This one here. This one here. There you go. And now you can just twist them off. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, like I said. I'm just going to speed up this process. So once you got them pretty loose, you can twist off the bolts. Hold on to the bars. And there you go. I'm going to set that down there. Put the bars to a side. There you go. Now when you got the bars removed, you can just pull off the stem. And now you can put on the new stem. And you always want to watch out here on how much space is in between the top of the fork of the steer tube to the top of the stem. So here is way too much of a gap. So I would have to remove a spacer. So I'd remove this and then check it again. And that's way too high up, so this is not going to compress. So I'm going to have to switch out the Sunday top cap to a BSD top cap that I have, and it's just a little bit higher, so it's going to be perfect for the stem. And also, for what I forgot to mention, this stem here is a little bit fatter from the headset stack height, as you can see. So if you put them side by side, this one, so side by side, this one is a little bit taller. So that's why I have to switch out the top cap. So I'm just going to do that here. So I'm just going to remove this one. And I like to put on a little bit of grease, but this one actually has grease already, so that's fine. And then the logo, you can just position it to however you want. I like to have it in the front, like that. And you always want to wipe off the grease here, since there was grease on the top cap, because for the stem, where it's not supposed to slip, you never want any grease where there's metal to metal contact. Only where it's moving and spinning parts, you want to add grease. So you want to remove this grease here on the steer tube with the rubbing alcohol that I have over here. So I'm just going to do that quickly. So just take this rubbing alcohol, put a little bit on here, and wipe it off. And you want to let it dry a bit. It takes a couple seconds. There you go. And you also want to wipe the inside of the stem here, and also remove the top cap of the other stem and wipe this mating surface, which mates the bars as well. Because if you had this stem on previously and the bar slipped, there's going to be a little bit of dust on this clamping surface. So you just want to wipe that down, as well as you want to wipe this down as well on the bars. So once you got it all wiped down, you can just put it on here. And now you can test the clearance. So this looks perfect. On the, you just want like 1 millimeter of space, so that way the stem can compress to the fork. So from there on, you can put on the top cap. Slowly twist it on. You can also add a little, forgot to mention, a little bit of grease here. It just helps thread it in a little easier, because dirt can fly into the fork if you don't have a cap on the bottom of the forks. So dirt's gonna fly in there. You just want to take a cloth, wipe down these threads here. I'm gonna do that quickly as well. Wipe down this, and then put a little bit of grease on the tip of the top cap. So to clean the threads, you just want to put a little bit of paper towel in there and twist. And there you go, see all that dirt? That was going to get caught in the threads, and that can damage your threads when installing the top cap. So clean that out and put some new grease on the top cap. So there you go. Now you can put the stem on. And I put a little bit of grease on the tip, and when I screw it in, it's going to distribute evenly and screw in smoothly. So just do it by hand. The rest I'm going to do with the Allen key. And this you just want to snug it down. We'll tighten it afterwards once we got the bars on the bike. There you go. So from here on, you just want to remove the top cap in the same sequence as the other stem. So I'm just going to do that quickly. So once you got this off, like I said, you want to clean this out with rubbing alcohol and the paper towel and on the mating surface of the bars. And then you can start putting the bars onto the stem. There you go. Gave it a good wipe. And now it's time to install the bars onto the stem. I'm going to show you how to do that. So from here, you want to grab your bars and you want to put it evenly on the stem. There you go. Now just grab the top cap here and then put the top cap on. You can slowly twist it on there. There you go. So there you go. Put the top cap on. I only have one hand, so I just quickly did it. And you just want to slowly start screwing these top bolts. Just going to speed up the process a bit. You just want to hand tighten them at first, hand thread them in so you don't damage and cross thread. There you go. Now you can see the Fiend Moro stem had a little bit bigger of a surface area of the clamping force. And so it's gonna wear out a little bit of the paint here, but you can just grab a black Sharpie and just cover that up if you want. But from here on, you can already start setting the bars at the bar angle that you want. Oops. Just gonna move it back a bit. So when you're moving the bars, it can move left to right. You just want to have even on both sides. So a little bit more out here. Move it back. Just kind of have to play with it. And then you can also already set the bar angle that you want. I like to ride it a little bit forward from the forks. And then you clamp it down from here. And from clamping it down, you want to go in a crisscross pattern, just like the same way we removed it. So you want to tighten here a little bit, over here, over here, over here, and keep doing that until there's even pressure on all sides of the top cap. So that way you don't warp your stem, you don't damage the threads, and you don't crush the bars. So yeah, you just tighten it up. So there, I got it a little bit tight. Now you just want to crank it down bit by bit. I got about even on both sides. You want to make sure you got that. So I'm just going to quickly tighten this down. And you want to tighten this down pretty good because you don't want your bars to slip unless you carry a 6mm with you when riding. But I like to crank these down pretty good. Just don't over tighten them. Yeah. And then once you got this tight, then you can start tightening the top compression bolt. So I'll show you that once I have this tight. So once you've tightened the top cap, you can tighten down the compression bolt, and you just want to snug it down. Just want to hold the bars here because you're going to move like that. That's tight enough. After that, after we tighten these pinch bolts, then we can wiggle it I'll show you that in a sec to make sure there's no play on the headset, because if there's play and you're riding, you can deform this right here, the top where your top cap sits, your bearing. You can deform it on the frame, and then you have to buy a new frame. So you don't want to ride this stem loose. And then you can tighten down the pinch bolts here on the side, and you just want to do it little by little. You want to make sure it's all aligned. I like to check on my pegs. That looks pretty straight to me. And you just want to tighten down bit by bit on both sides, so that way there's even pressure on the clamping force of the stem. So I'm just going to quickly tighten that down. On this side now, a little bit on this side, back to this, and you want to snug this pretty good because you don't want to be riding and your stem shifting on you. That's super annoying. Okay, a little bit more on this side. Oops, wrong side. Go. There you go, that's snug. And now you want to do the wiggle test. So you just want to move your bars like this, and you just want to kind of hump your bike. And that looks like it doesn't have any play. To see if it has play, you'll see the top cap move side to side, like forward and backwards. And if it moves forward and backwards, you can also feel it when you're moving the bars. And this doesn't have any play, so this is good. And if it does have play, then you want to loosen the pinch bolts again and tighten down the top cap just a smidge, and then tighten the pinch bolts again. Hope this video has helped you guys from saving money, bringing it to a shop and doing it yourself. So that's how you properly install a BMX stem. Hope this has helped you, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see next. Peace.